Has this ever happened to you? Have you been in the middle of your Hyrox event and have no idea what you're doing? Like this guy? Well, we've got some tips today just for you. Come run with me. Change your mind, change your life. All right, let's start with the sled pull. All right, so the sled pull. Now the sled pull is the third movement in the 8 functional fitness movements in Hyrox. Now, like I said last week, the 2 sleds are probably the most intimidating movements that you are not gonna win the race on, but you definitely could lose it if you blow up. Now the sled pull, in my opinion, is probably one of the hardest, just because it can definitely take a lot of time and can take a lot out of you if you're not ready for it. So, here's some techniques, here's some workouts, some different things you can do to help you maximize your potential when you get to this event. All right, so one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people make on the sled is they use their lower back a little bit too much. So they'll watch up, they'll walk up, they'll kind of plant their feet, they'll lean in as much as they can, and then they'll start trying to pull with their lower back, okay? There's no way the little muscles in your back, no matter how strong you are gonna outlast that much weight on that sled. You're gonna wear yourself out, exhaust yourself, and the sled's not gonna move very fast. Another thing I'll see a lot of times is you'll see people who are like monsters, right? They're super strong and they're hand and overhanded, right? Which, if you've got the strength to do it, that probably is the fastest way and it will save your legs. But once again, your biceps, your back are smaller muscle groups in comparison. So it could take a little bit of gas or wind out of your sails. But if you got the strength for it, go for it. What I found the most efficient way, okay, and remember, efficiency is really all about being able to keep a certain pace or speed with the least amount of effort. So what I found the most efficient way is to grab it and immediately lean back, okay? And so when I say lean back, you are using your own body weight as leverage to get this sled moving, okay? So you're moving, you're walking back, you're dropping the rope, you're coming up again, you're leaning back, okay? And so what that allows you to do, you have about maybe 4 to 5 feet of space for you to walk. It allows you to use your legs, which are a huge muscle group, save a lot of your grip strength as well, and you will probably move much, much faster. So, some training techniques for this are, get a heavy sled, put a bunch of weight on it, and understand that even though, you know, the weight may be 225 or so, right? I think it's like 165 for the ladies, 225 for the men, and like the pro weight, the men's pro weight's like 337-ish or something like that. So, it can be pretty heavy, right? But there's also a rope on the other side, and that adds additional weight and drag. So you need to probably add a little bit more weight to the sled and just practice the different movements and different techniques. I suggest really master the walking back, but practice using just your arms, right? Practice using the pull-in method. Walk and pull at the same time. You can also grab some blue straps, or I say blue, ours are blue, I'm sorry. But you can grab some straps, right? Like TRX bands, and walk, just constantly walking back with a heavy sled. Another great way to train. Doing squats, doing lunges are really gonna be helpful because they're gonna help strengthen those quads, and those are 2 big muscle groups you're gonna be using when you're pulling on that sled. So if you give those a shot, be consistent with it, I promise you, the sled will give you no trouble. All right, so we're gonna talk about burpees now, right? Now, there's a lot of different theories out there on burpees on what's the best way and the fastest way to get through it. Some people say certain things take less energy. I've heard that you should take small jumps because that'll conserve energy. I've heard step back, step forward, because that'll conserve energy as well. It may, I haven't seen that, it hasn't been proven to me. I will tell you that both of those movements are slower, okay? And so if you wanna save time, you need to be more efficient, you're gonna have to learn how to be faster, right? So the short approach means more burpees, okay? So if you jump short, you're not going as far, that means you're gonna have to end up doing more burpees. So if you do more burpees, probably means you're using more energy, okay? So I think really what the focus should be on, whether you want to jump short, whether you want to step whatever, what I found is I feel like it needs to be fewer moves, okay? And so the more efficient you can be with the movements, the quicker you're gonna go, and probably the less energy you're gonna use, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna count through kind of the standard that we see a lot at Hyrox, right? So here's what you do. So you're gonna go down, squat down, no, just squat down, okay? Squat down. Now legs are back, so that's 1, 2, 3, down, 4, up, 5, step up, 6, 7. Okay, so that's 7 moves. Well, we forgot the jump. Jump. 8 moves to go forward, okay? Now step back again. All right, now do the 2-feeted with 2 feet back, right? So here we go, hands down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now jump, and 7, all right? So only one less, really, for the most part, 1 or 2 less movements, okay? Now, if you can learn, and the only way you're gonna learn this is through practice, if you can learn to shorten the amount of moves, okay? So what I suggest is learn how to drop to the ground, right? So receive yourself on the ground. So instead of taking 3 moves to get to the ground, just take 1, right? So, you ready? Drop to the ground. 1, up, 2, and then you would jump. So that was 4 because you stood up and then you jumped, okay? So a lot of times that's another inefficiency. I'll see people stand up and then they jump. Well, you just wasted a squat, right? So you just did an extra squat. So if you can learn to go down, up, jump, okay? Very efficient. You can use the momentum of the up to fling you forward, okay? So drop straight down, straight up, jump, right? And you jumped way further, right? Without even meaning to do it, okay? So if you can do this, you will look like a dolphin, like going through. I've heard people tell me that, okay? So if you can learn to be efficient through that, but here's the thing, the only way you're gonna get better at this particular movement is you got to do burpees. Sorry. All right, guys, that is it for today. We hope you learned something. We hope you liked it. If so, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, like it, share it with all those Hyrox athletes out there, or just people you think might be interested in getting better at Hyrox or giving it a shot. So if you do enjoy it, please make sure you can also check out our podcast. We have all types of wonderful guests. We talk about training techniques. We have a great time. We tell stories, and you can see that. You can check that out here on YouTube, and then also anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. So every Wednesday we drop a new episode. It's a great time. So guys, all the rest of this month we're still going to be talking about Hyrox. We've got 4 more events to talk about, and in my opinion, this is really where the rubber meets the road. Is that how the saying goes? This is where it's real, right? So this is where you really got to push yourself, and some really great techniques that can help you take some time off the rest of that Hyrox event. So remember, guys, when you change your mind, you can change your life.